Okay, thank you very much, Pete. Like you said, I am Engineer Mone Aernyi. I'm a civil engineer by training, a staff of Benue State government under the Ministry of Works, Transport, and I'm here on secondment to manage this project, RAAMP, Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project for Benue State. Thank you. Yeah, RAAMP. RAAMP, so if you like to stress it, you call it RAAMP because there's a double A. It's in the third phase of the project. The first and second phases, the project was known as RAAMP, had only one A, and it was called Rural Access and Mobility Project. But now it is called Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project. The project is at the implementation phase of the Nigerian Rural Transport and Travel Policy. The project is a brainchild of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. And it started in 2006. When the project eventually took off, the federal government selected 2 states as pilot states, Kaduna State and Cross River State. And the World Bank sponsored or financed the implementation of the project in Kaduna State, while the African Development Bank financed the implementation of the project in Cross River State. So the second phase of the project saw 5 states. And this time it was strictly World Bank and French Development Agency that financed the project. The project was implemented in Adamawa State, Niger State, Enugu State, Imo State, and Osun State. The project finally wound down in 2020. So now we're in the third phase of the project, and after 2 phases, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture saw that it was important to bring in agricultural marketing into the project. So that's why the nomenclature, the name of the project changed from RAAMP to RAAMP. So they now inculcated the implementation of or the component of agricultural marketing into the project. So RAAMP is basically, as the name implies, to create access in rural areas, all year-round access, all weather roads. It was realized that the bulk of Nigerians live in the rural areas, and most of them are farmers, and the weather affects their operations. You know, especially during the rainy seasons, it becomes very difficult for farmers to take their farm produce to the markets, or it becomes very difficult for people who are interested in these products or produce to go into the hinterland to buy from the farmers. So there's obstruction or free flow or free movement. So the project is here to help create all-weather roads, maintain roads for people to pass freely. It is going to reduce the time of transportation, travel time from one point to the other, especially as regards rural roads. It is also going to reduce the difficulty in transportation. You know, there are some times you travel, and when you get to a place, you look for Panadol to take. So it's going to help you to get, you know, smooth transition from one point to the other in your rural areas. You know, so that's RAAMP. And because of the agricultural marketing angle that has come now, you know, we are also looking at helping the rural farmers to know where and how to package their products for sale. You understand? How do we package it? Where are we selling it? And who are we selling it to? Is it for the right price? So that at the end of the day, they'll be able to raise the capital, the desired capital, to take care of themselves, to pay taxes, and to help the government, so that dependence on government will be greatly reduced. So that is RAAMP for you. It's a complete package. It is also going to develop the capacities of women and youth. It's going to create a lot of employment opportunities, self-reliance and all that, to move people from subsistent farming to middle class or even large-scale farming. It's a good thing for the country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
This project, this third phase, this RAAMP, officially started last year. This third phase, 18 states were prioritized, and Benue is one of the 18 states. 13 states are going to be supported by World Bank and French Development Agency, and Benue State is one of the 5 states that African Development Bank was supposed to sponsor, but for African finance. But African Development Bank is looking at another project now that is called SAPS. So European Investment Bank is in the process of taking over Benue State and 4 other states. So already, if you can see, this is our project implementation manual, and you can see December 2020. This is when it was released, So, and the project is meant to last for 6 years. So the project for those 13 states effectively started last year. So you count 6 years from last year. Benue State eventually, and the 4 other states, eventually, when we start in the next couple of months, ours will be starting this year and be ending in the next 6 years. So the project has a lifespan of 6 years. Well, the project came to Benue State in 2016 when His Excellency Governor Samuel Otom wrote a letter of expression of interests to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Federal Ministry of Finance, and the Federal Project Management Unit of RAAMP. And in 2017, because it was one of the criteria that was listed, it was one out of the many things that were asked to do before we'll be selected. It was the prioritization of rural roads in Benue State and the selection of a few roads, altogether 500 kilometers of roads, So Benue State government under Governor Samuel Otom paid money to a reputable consultant who went out to the field and carried out the prioritization of rural roads. There are a lot of rural roads in Benue State. So he went out, the consultant went out with his team. They sampled all the rural roads in Benue State, and they picked 30 roads. 30 roads, sum up to 500 kilometers across all local governments in the 3 senatorial zones of Benue State. So we were about going into a lot of things. Then COVID came in and was slowed down. So for now, we have been doing some sensitization. We are set up our office, and of course, we are also going to carry out some upgrading of a few roads under our pilot project scheme, because the State Executive Council has allowed us to carry out some pilot projects. We'll be starting that very soon, and Citizen TV is going to participate in the communication of the good deeds of the project to the Benue people too. We'll be keeping you in the loop, and you will follow and know what we'll be doing. We have 5 roads that we're going to work on very soon, and one in Logo local government. We have 1 in Guma, 2 in Gwe West, 1 in Oju local government. We're going to be doing some upgrading. It's just some spot maintenance of those roads to allow people on that road corridor to access the road all year round. So I wouldn't say we haven't done nothing. We have been training. The state government has been sponsoring the training of our staff. We have been keeping ourselves busy, especially with the pilot projects that are soon to come. And we have been doing a lot to keep ourselves in shape, so that when we receive financing from the development partners, we'll hit the ground running. Well, it gives me pleasure to tell you that Benue State government under Governor Samuel Otom, because RAAMP started, like I told you, many years back. But it is under this government that RAAMP came to Benue State. It was Governor Samuel Otom that heard about RAAMP and expressed interest and brought the project to Benue State. And everything that has been asked of Benue State, he has done. I'll tell you about the counterpart, for instance, counterpart fund. States were asked to pay $5 million, equivalent of $5 million as counterpart fund. And some states are paying in bits. But our governor, as far back as 2019, paid the equivalent, as at then it was, the equivalent in Naira was 1.5 billion. And the governor paid the money in one swoop. He has dumped the money with the project and he's not looking back. It's the counterpart fund and all the things that were asked of the project to actualize with the counterpart fund, we have done and we're still doing them. We're running the project, we have our operational vehicles, we have our office space, we go for trainings, we are doing everything that is required of us by the Federal Project Management Unit and the development partners because of the availability of counterpart funds. So with RAAMP, I can tell you that we have no challenges when it comes to meeting the requirements that are going to see us draw down from the development partners. Yes, when we talk about agricultural marketing, yes, you may be right to ask if we buy products, but that is not the logic. That's not the meaning. We are talking about creating conducive atmosphere for farmers to market their products, their farm produce, and for buyers to do. So now on this project, as much as we prioritized roads, we also prioritized markets, okay? And we call those markets agro-logistic hubs. You understand? And we're going to have 2 of them in every senatorial zone in the states. There are going to be 6 in total. If you can see, we are talking about building of markets with stores, okay? We're going to have warehouses, okay? We're going to have storage facilities, processing facilities. We're going to provide storage facilities. So now, the idea is we can also advise the state government on what to do. And through the project, we can, through our storage facilities and all that, we can, you know, buy from farmers, you know, store in those places. We can show farmers how to package, like, you know, the Benue yam is not exportable because of 1 or 2 things. But through the project, we can try to help conscientize farmers. We can give them the enablement to imbibe the new culture of farming yam in the best, internationally accepted best practices. You understand? So that we can also be exporting yams. And these yams, we can even maybe package them in form of powder for pounded yam, or in form of many other, you know, finished products. You understand? So through the project, when we're talking about agricultural marketing, we'll be conscientizing, we'll be building the capacities of women and youth who are involved in farming on how to do that. We can show them how to, you know, go into business. We can give them links to or access to small-scale loans or medium-scale loans. You understand? It's all about improving the sustainability of these people. You know, they are building local economies and all. Well, that is when we come to the implementation phase. Okay. And because we are doing this with international development partners, we will have to wait so that we will have to preach the gospel according to their Bible. Yes, frustrations are challenges too. Yes. We can say that we have frustrations, but what good thing do you do that you don't face frustrations or challenges? Our first challenge or frustration is COVID-19. COVID-19 has drawn us back a whole year, or even more. If not for COVID-19, I'm sure would have been effective by now. Because the whole of 2020, nothing happened. So most of the things we did last year were the things we would have done in 2020. And the things we are doing now are things we would have done last year. So by now, would have been active. So that's the first challenge. You understand? The second challenge is when you know how good your product is, but you cannot sell it to the people. We are waiting to implement this project. And it is only time that stands between us and the implementation of this project. Because everything that has to do with development partners has to do with processes. And when you're talking about processes, it's reliant on time. So like I told you that in the next few weeks or a couple of months, we would be effective. It's just a matter of time. We're marking time. And it's frustrating. It's actually frustrating. But every other thing is good. Every other thing is okay. We have the support of the state government. We are going to go into the implementation of our pilot project in the next few weeks. A fortnight from now, we'll have our contractors on site and all that working. And even the governor keeps asking that, why are your contractors not on site? Why are they not on site? And I keep telling him that, Your Excellency, we need to pass through protocol or through processes. You understand? We can't just jump into that. Yes, you have released the money to us, but we have to follow a due process. You know, and he keeps telling me that, well, you have to do what is right, and if you do that which is wrong, I will not give you my backing. So we are taking our time to start this, and I can assure you that in a fortnight from now, we'll be on sites. At least 5 of the sites will be on. And like I said, you'll be our partners in propagating the message. Citizen TV.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
We appreciate having you this afternoon.